feel like recently the life has been drained from my eyes. I'm not really too sure what to do with myself. It feels like I'm kind of just existing on an extraterrestrial plane. And I don't know if it's because my mind doesn't have some kind of tasks to do. I don't know if it's because if I don't have some kind of worry. Or maybe I need something to do. But I think it's finally time that I start letting it out. I don't have a job. YouTube is the only thing I do. I just sit around all day, waiting for something to happen. Even though I know that's stupid of me, because obviously nothing is going to happen. Obviously I should go out there and try to make a life for myself. But I just can't. I don't know why. It seems like every single time that I try to go out and talk to somebody, I never can get it done. I'm always holding back. I'm always holding something in. The only people that I actually open up to is my family. I open up to nobody else. I try my best to. But it just leaves me in the same cycle. Trying to trust, worrying, worshiping the problems. Just for me to go and run back to the only thing that actually gets me anywhere. The only thing that actually makes me feel. Because that's all I really want. I just want to feel okay. I don't want anything crazy. I just want to be able to wake up in the morning and have peaceful thoughts. And not even have peaceful thoughts, just be able to be at ease. Because most days I just get headaches from thinking too much. Just before I had to take some Advil, one individual Advil to get rid of a little minor headache because I was thinking too much. Just the other day, I was downstairs doing the dishes. And it's not even like I was grossed out because I do the dishes all the time, but just like I threw up. I didn't throw up on the dishes, but like I ran into my bathroom and I threw up in the tub. And it wasn't because I was sick. I really can't explain to you why I threw up. I don't usually throw up, but just I feel like everything has just been getting to me. Things have just been piling up, and things don't seem to be slowing down. Things only seem to be going faster and faster. Time. I feel like my concept of time is being manipulated. Right now it is currently 2:55 p.m. as I'm filming this video. And it just seems like every single day, it just seems like the days just keep on going by quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And I'm only 20 years old. I can't imagine putting up with another 2 decades, 3 decades of this life. I love life, but sometimes I just want to die. Sometimes I just don't want to be here. I just don't want to put up with everything, and that is the unfortunate truth. Of course I have other people, I have friends, I have 2 friends. I've had someone that I've known my entire life, and I've also had someone that I just met, and I've known them for about almost 2 years now. But I just want someone who loves me for me unconditionally. I want someone to treat me like I would treat them. I want to be the person that I wish I had. I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to love myself. You find out that things are a lot easier when you stop holding back. And I wish I had a plan. I don't have a plan with my life. I don't dream to work. I don't know what to do. I only ever had one girlfriend. I don't know if I even want a relationship. I have my animal. Oh, my animal's not even with me. I have my animal. My best friend just recently, my dog. He's no longer with me anymore. And I just feel like I remember, when I was a kid, I just thought as I would get older, I would think that everything would just be fine. But I just look around, and I look around, and I just watch, just every single thing around me just slowly passes away. Who even am I complaining to a camera, about my life's problems, because I don't want to go to therapy. I don't want to take medications. So I sit in the cycle. I sit in my bed all day and I scroll on TikTok and I do these videos and I just hate myself. Not that I actually hate myself, but like I put myself down whenever possible. I ignore my friends even though they're the only consistency that I even have in my life. Not even that I'm ignoring, it's just that I don't want to do anything. I have no motivation to do anything. The only thing that I have any kind of motivation to do is literally get up in the morning and clean my home, because that is the only thing that I've had set in stone in my schedule and routine that I do literally subconsciously. Like the first thing I do when I wake up is I go downstairs, I clean my house, I clean my room, then I take a shower, and then I mope around, try to find something to do. I go to the gym. I try to talk to my friends. I try to avoid my PlayStation because I feel like that has taken a lot of things out of my life. And then take a look. I was just outside trying to also film a video, and now it's raining. My 2 cents was correct. But sometimes I feel like I need a rainy day just to be able to appreciate the sunny one. I need to have bad things happen to me in order for me to appreciate the good times, the good things that do happen. Because think about it. You have all these things that are going wrong outside of your control. But you need to realize something. You can't change the world. You can't change the people around you. You can't dictate the weather. You can only control yourself. You can only control what you do. That's the reality. As you can see, there was a little cut in the video. And the reason why there was a little cut in the video is because, like we just mentioned, it was raining. And I totally forgot that my trunk was open. So I had to go outside, shut it. And I had also some time to think, to reflect. To reflect how nothing I really say, nothing I really do is going to change the way of the world. Because you can't change the world. Now, you can't change the people around you, like we said. But just because you can't change the people around you doesn't mean that you can't change the people around you. Because I personally want to go in my life where I am celebrated by the people around me, not just tolerated by the people around me. I want to go around to people that have smiles that I'm around. But most places I go, I just kind of get asked, Matt, why are you so low? Where's that smile? Where's that light? And then I kind of have to step back and I kind of have to ask myself, where did it go? Where did that light go? Sometimes you just need to let it all out. Whether that's at the gym, running in the rain, screaming into a pillow. It's all just life. And I guess I could even pop out a little quote that I try to remind myself that the magic that I am looking for in this life is quite literally in the work that I am avoiding. Kind of like making a video, or journaling, or eating healthy, or going to the gym, or literally doing anything beneficial for myself. I procrastinate because I don't want to do anything at all. All I want to do is grab my 3 blankets, curl up into a ball, and sleep for the rest of eternity. But I know, obviously, I'll have to eventually get out of my bed to go to the bathroom. I'll have to eventually I'll get hungry, and I'll have to go get food. I'm kind of just like I'm a hermit, waiting for life to happen. But I realize that life is not going to happen for me, that I need to get out there and make my life happen. But I've been in the same area my entire life. People that would have been my friends, I feel like the people that could have been my friends or should have been my friends are not my friends. I feel like I don't know everybody in my area, obviously, because, like, how could you? Because, like, I only know the people from my high school and the people that are my age. But, like, maybe the world just doesn't want me to meet people. Maybe the world just doesn't want me to have opportunity, because it seems like whenever I go out, I'm just, maybe it's me, because, of course, I could admit to, I'm very quiet. I don't make eye contact. I look down. Even though I've been trying to change that, I've been trying to look up, because there's no good point in looking down. There's also really no good point in hating yourself, because if you hate yourself, why would you want to live in a reality where you hate yourself? Why would you want to live in a reality where you can't do the things that you want to do? Life is not some game that you could turn on and off, okay? It's real. Very real. Sometimes so real that you need to break down. Sometimes it's so real that you need to just hop in your car and go somewhere because you can't handle it anymore. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the one that just can't handle it anymore. Sometimes you just get so tired of just being tired. Going to sleep tired, waking up tired, middle of the day tired. But you're not even tired in the way of tired, you're just physically and mentally drained. Your soul is exhausted. You don't know if you could do anything right. So your reality makes you do everything wrong. It reinforces the fact that you're not a real person. Because sometimes you don't even feel like you are. And I can relate to that feeling. Living in a fake world. If the universe is infinite, so they say, perhaps if you go far enough, you'll find another alternate reality. Of another you. Another Earth. Another being. I know that's deep. But it's impossible to tell what this world is. Or why we're here. Why we experience the things we experience. Why we have the horrible things happen to us. Why our family is our family. Why we talk to the people we talk to. Why we hear the things we hear. It's crazy. Because from the moment that you get born, you only really know what somebody has taught you. Because what is also crazy is what you learn is really the only thing you have to offer in life. So if you don't get taught the right things, if people don't treat you the right way, not that it's necessarily your fault, because it's not your fault if you weren't brought up in the right time, or if the people around you didn't treat you correctly, it's not your fault. But sometimes you need to take responsibility for yourself. Responsibility for your own happiness. Responsibility for you. Because all you have is you. From the moment you're born, what I'm trying to say is you come into this world alone and you leave alone. There's a reason why TV shows, video games, and movies, and all the sci-fi crap have happy endings. Most do. To suffice for the fact that in real life, there are none. Because one day you will be forgotten. At some point you will be just a name. An image. Floating around. In the back of people's heads. And then soon your memory will die with them. Because the world, at least the way we know it, really hasn't been around that long. Maybe only around 300 to 400 years have humans worked for money. Sometimes I feel like we weren't made for this. Maybe we're not ready. Some are. Some don't question it. But some live in agonizing pain. Every single day. Everybody, rock bottom is not where you lay. It's where you decide to stop digging yourself down, deeper, into your hole. Because this storm could come, it could break down your house, it could take everything from you. But my question to you is, if you were stripped from everything and you only had yourself, would you be okay with that? Or would you struggle? Thank you for watching the entire video. Thank you for listening to me rant, yap, whatever. I've just been feeling a little odd recently. And it's not really something that I could just keep bottled up inside, I mean, I could, but that's not healthy for anybody. Especially if you are dealing with something, because You don't know the silent battles that people are going through, okay? You yourself have gone through situations and scenarios that no one else has even been there for except you. You were the only one that was there. You have battled thoughts in your brain, in your head, that you could never even begin to start expressing out loud to other people. Okay? You don't need to walk in my shoes. You don't need to literally be me in order to empathize with me. And I don't literally need to be you or walk in your shoes in order to empathize with you. Okay, the only reason why human beings have even made it as far as we have is because of each other, because we have each other to bounce ideas off of, to be there for, to care. You know, so maybe spread a little bit of kindness today. Something that the world is somewhat lacking. You know, so try to be that positive difference. Don't sit back and think that you can't change anything, because you can most definitely start somewhere. You may not be able to change the world, but let me tell you something. If you change yourself, the only person that you actually can change in this universe, well, then you have changed the world. Well, your world, at least. Stay positive. Get out there. Seize the day. And why would you want to live in a reality where you hate yourself? It's not fun. Believe you can. Don't let anxiety and depression win. Get out there.